Hi, I'm Jean Nolte, editor at Fons & Porter.
And I'm Colleen Tauke, the sewing specialist for Fons & Porter. In today's tutorial, we will show you quilts made from triangle squares.
For the patterns for these quilts, go to shopfonsandporter.com/quiltingquickly. Okay, so these quilts that we're talking about today were all made from triangle squares, which is very easy. And each quilt uses 40 10-inch squares of dark and 40 10-inch squares of light. So not much cutting because you buy pre-cuts, hopefully. I did, however, buy a background fabric and cut my own 10-inch squares of the lights. So the first thing we're going to do is mark a line diagonally from corner to corner on each of the light squares. So I'm taking a ruler. This is an 18-inch ruler because it's a 10-inch square. A 12-inch ruler isn't long enough.
It's a long diagonal on that
It
size
is.
of a square.
And we're going to mark from corner to corner on each one.
On each of the lights.
On each of the light squares. And then what we do is pair it with a dark square and line them up exactly so all the corners meet. And then I'm going to give it to you to sew.
Now, when you're working with a square this large, what we want to do is sew on each side of this diagonal line. Sometimes we will go in and actually draw the sewing lines, but because this is a long stretch across here, we've marked the center, and on your sewing machine we want to go in and make sure that we can position the needle so that from the needle to the edge of the presser foot is a 1/4 inch. If you can't adjust the needle position on your sewing machine, you may want to go in and put a line on each side, because where we're going to stitch isn't on the line, but a 1/4 inch to either side of it.
Right. So you stitch along that. You run the edge of the presser foot along that line, and then the needle is stitching a line a 1/4 inch away from the line that you drew. So you go all the way down until you get to the corner, and then you're able to just turn around without stopping, stopping without cutting your thread. You pivot.
We're just jumping to the other side of the line now.
And get about a 1/4 inch away and pivot again and make sure if that lines up on your line again.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're 1/4 inch from the line.
So then you stitch the other line. And there's really not much more to it than this. So once you get that, I'm going to cut it in half. I do use a ruler just because it's easier. It doesn't really matter if you cut accurate 1/4 inch seams here, because what's going to be important is the sewing lines. But I do use a ruler just to make it a little easier. Right. So then what you're going to do is take it over here. I'm going to set my seam on the dark side, and then I'm going to flip that over and press it toward the dark.
Yep.
Okay, and then the last step.
And with this process, of course, it yields 2 squares at once.
2. And if you'll hand me those scissors, I just use scissors. You can use a rotary cutter and ruler, but I just use scissors to cut off those little points.
Sometimes we call them dog ears.
Yep.
Take those out of the way. Clean everything
And
up.
there you go. So you'll end up with 80 of these triangle squares. Once you have those, you can make any number of different quilts.
Endless number of designs.
A lot. And so I have about 10 different designs that I have come up with.
And it's all just in the placement of the lights and darks.
This one is the gray and tan quilt you see behind us. This one is the pinwheel quilt.
It's behind me.
There. This is the Beacon of Hope quilt that is in the Spring Quilting Quickly issue. And then these are just some more ideas of things you can go. Each one of these uses exactly 80 triangle squares. So you could use any color combination, make any one of these quilts.
Thanks for joining us today.
To see more of our videos, go to video.fonsandporter.com.